The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
There are 3 victims we know of. The suspect is female, white, late 20s.
Female serial killers
kill for power, control.
I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, and you are going to end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. For bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Hey y'all. Welcome to Love, Lies, and Alibis, where the red flags are ignored, the lies are outrageous, the alibis, baby, they almost never make sense. So I need you to grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, because today I'm gonna probably piss some people off, but hey, that's what I do around here, right? Because this conversation that's been floating around social media about the starter wife. And if you haven't heard the term, the basic idea is you spend years with a man, you struggle together, you support him, you help him build. You're there through the bad jobs, the broke years, the shitty apartment, the credit problems, the career changes, all of that. And you're thinking, we're building our future, but y'all never get married. The relationship ends up ending, and then this motherfucker meets somebody else, and 6 months later, he's engaged or married. You never know. And you sitting there like, bitch, what? I put in 10 years, and she got the benefit package after 6 months. And let's be honest, naturally that hurts. And I'm not taking that away from anybody, because the first thought is probably, so you were capable of marriage, you just didn't want to marry me. And we need to talk about that. We need to break that down. Because I know, y'all know me, I always come through with an unpopular opinion. But sometimes, yes, that's exactly what happens. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything was wrong with you. Baby, that just wasn't your husband. Now, I can already hear somebody throwing their AirPods. Fuck you mean that wasn't my husband? I gave that man X amount of years. I understand. But here's where we get ourselves fucked up. We start treating time invested like it created an obligation to marry. 5 years means something, 7 years means something, 10 years means something. But none of those numbers automatically mean this is the person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. And I can say this confidently. Why? Because I've been her. So let me share a little bit of my story. I spent 7 years in a relationship. 7. We had 2 kids. We were engaged, wedding planned, venue secure, dress, it was in the closet. We were 60 days away from getting married. Okay. And I canceled the wedding. Now imagine what's going through my head. What are people going to say? The save the dates have already went out. We were literally about to send out wedding invitations. People know we have kids. We've been together forever. I've put in 7 years into this relationship. But here's the part that people don't want to admit. Sometimes you're not holding on to the person anymore. You're holding on to that investment. And when I tell y'all I wanted a return on mine, that was literally what I would say. I would always say, I've invested too much to let you go when you go right off into the sunset with the next bitch after I've put in all the work. Because I was like, if I leave now, what was it all for? And that thinking will have you marrying somebody you know damn well you shouldn't have married. Because if I'm being truthful, I knew. I knew that marriage was going to make me happy. We had been through cheating. We had been through a gambling addiction. We had been through so much. And I knew the problems that we had weren't just going to magically disappear because I put on a white dress. If anything, marriage amplifies any problem you have. But I was more worried about the embarrassment of canceling a wedding than the reality of waking up 5 years later fucking miserable. And you know what? To this day, I thank God that I did not marry that man. Like, I really do. Because I would have been miserable. We would have ended up in divorce court. Like, it would have all been for nothing. And don't get me wrong, I lost out on at least $5,000 because I said half of everything was pretty much already paid for. I lost out on a lot of money. I did because I was one paying for it. But let me tell you, I left. And if you ask me about it, maybe 3 months later, ask me if that man had somebody new. He did. And see, some woman would have been like, see, he was waiting on her. Not me. Because when I left our relationship, let me clarify for you. I left that man with nothing. Because honestly, I was a sole provider for the most part. He would have, like I said, job loss. I was always the consistent one. I made sure he had a car. I helped him get a car. He didn't have no car when he left because the car got repossessed. He had no job. He had nowhere to live because I put his ass the fuck out the fuck. And matter of fact, I had my best friend at the time come take all his clothes and I gave him to the Goodwill. So, like I said, she didn't receive some fully assembled husband fresh off the showroom floor, baby. No, she got the IKEA box. She had pieces everywhere. You know, the instructions was missing and girl was 3 screws rolling around the bottom. Good luck, sis. But you know what? She got him. And she got his ass together. He was even lightweight on the verge of being a deadbeat daddy. And you know what? They're married to this day. They have a baby, and genuinely, and I say this to her all the time, kudos to you. She took her bill to bear, she took her bill to man, and she did what she had to do. She got him together. She really did on all aspects. I can't say nothing bad about the lady. And I remember telling him, like, she's a good one. You better marry that girl and give her a baby because you ain't gonna keep getting good women. And he did. And you know what? I eventually realized that her getting her husband did not mean that I lost because I didn't want that marriage. And apparently that version of their relationship works in a ways that ours didn't. She wasn't my replacement. She was his next chapter. And so was I. Because I don't want to see her acting like women who feel used are delusional because they're not. There absolutely are situations where somebody keeps a partner around because the relationship is comfortable. We've all done it. They know that person wants marriage. They know they don't. But instead of being honest and saying, I don't see myself marrying you, they just say, I'm not ready right now. And that not ready becomes next year, then it's another year, then it's another year. Meanwhile, you're building a life based on the assumption that eventually ready is coming. And that's fucked up. If you know somebody wants marriage and you know you don't see marriage with that person, stop accepting all the benefits of the relationship while letting them believe there's a destination you're never planning to reach. And that's where I understand the anger behind you wasted my time because sometimes they did. But here's the uncomfortable part. At what point do we become responsible for our own time? Because if somebody has been telling you, I'm not ready for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, at some point, you have your answer. It might not be the answer that you want. This is where something called the sunk cost fallacy comes in. Basically, we have a tendency to keep investing in something because we're already invested so much. I've already given him 5 years, and 5 becomes 7, and I can't leave after 7 years. But here's the problem: staying doesn't get those old years back. Marriage doesn't give you a refund on your investment. Let me say that again for the ones who ain't heard it in the back. Marriage is not a refund for time invested. You can spend 10 years with the wrong person or 10 years in one more day. Those are your choices. But then you're going to say, but he changed for her.
Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
There are 3 victims we know of. The suspect is female, white, late 20s.
Female serial killers.
Kill for power, control.
I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, and you are going to end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
And this one kind of hurts because women will say, I begged that man to communicate. I begged him to get his shit together. I begged him to go to therapy. I begged him to be romantic because I did all of that. And then the next woman came along and suddenly he's husband of the damn year. And then you sitting there thinking, so how do you know? I can understand that anger. But again, we have to live in our uncomfortable truths. Sometimes people grow after losing relationships. Maybe losing you taught him something. Maybe he matured. Maybe the next relationship has different boundaries. Maybe she required things that you didn't. Maybe he requires things from her that he didn't require from you. Maybe their communication styles work better. Or maybe, and this is the one that nobody wants to hear, They're simply more compatible. Doesn't mean she's prettier. I won't touch on that one. Doesn't mean she's better, smarter, more worthy. It doesn't mean you weren't enough. It just means the relationship works differently. And guess what? You might meet somebody 6 months later and decide and suddenly become the partner that your ex begged you to be. Because sometimes two decent people together create a terrible relationship. So the question, when I see posts saying 10 years together, no ring, he married the next woman in 6 months, my first reaction isn't automatically, girl, he played you. My question is, what happened during those 10 years? Were you happy? Was the relationship healthy? Were your needs being met? Did y'all actually talk about marriage? Did he promise marriage, or did he repeatedly move the goalpost? Or were there signs for years that this wasn't your person and you stayed because you didn't want all that time to feel wasted? Because those are very different stories. And maybe this is where my experience makes me look at it differently, because I had the years, I had the kids, the engagement, the venue, I had the whole fucking dress that I literally just got rid of, I think maybe 2 years ago. Yes, I walked around with that goddamn dress for almost 10 years. And I still walked away. And the man I did marry, he went on and married somebody else. And you know what? Good. Because apparently that was his wife and he wasn't my husband. And maybe the biggest mistake we make with this whole starter wife conversation is assuming that because somebody married the next person won. Mm-mm. Sometimes everybody won. He found his wife, she found her husband, and you got released from a relationship that wasn't meant to become your marriage. That's not always rejection. Sometimes, like I tell people, like, God's rejection is really just redirection. So here's what I have to ask y'all, and the question that I want to ask what y'all to answer for me. If your ex gives the next person in 6 months what you waited 10 years for, did they waste your time? Or did those 10 years already tell you everything you needed to know? Because baby, right there, that's the conversation. And I know some of y'all are going to disagree with me, and that's okay. You know, we can argue respectfully, because this is love, lies, and alibis around here, and we can disagree and still pour another glass. So meet me in the comments, meet me over on Love, Lies, and Alibis on Facebook, wherever you find me at. I want to know what y'all think. It's an open forum. Let me know, and I'll see y'all next week.
I see you.
Avatar Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney Plus. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney Plus.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney Plus. Rated PG-13.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.